Okay, welcome to this kind of a unique story of an instrument. And we are at 109 Karen Drive on the back porch. And I'm with Dad Allen, my father-in-law. And we're going to talk a little bit about the accordion. And I'm going to show you some things later. And first of all, I just wanted him to talk a little bit about it, about his experience with it, what it is for those of you who know nothing about accordion. Go ahead.
Well, it's a very practical and useful instrument. I've used it a lot over the years, but it's a reed instrument based on the same principle as your simple harmonica. Here we have sets of reeds, and you blow through the reed and get the sound. But the difference with the accordion, it has double sets of reeds, so that with the harmonica, I blow out the air and get a sound, but when I inhale, I get a different sound. But with the accordion, the bellows does the blowing for me, and it gives me the same reeds going out and in.
Okay. A lot bigger.
Now, a lot bigger and a lot heavier.
When did you first play one?
Well, my first experience with the accordion was in 1957. I was invited by a Mexican evangelist to go to Cuba for the summer of '57. And by the way, that was before Castro. He came into power in January of '59. But in '57, I was invited to go for these evangelistic meetings. And Evelio Perez said, I would like for you to go and play the accordion for a group. And that sort of surprised me, but I said, well, give me a week to pray about it and I'll let you know. I was in school. I was finishing the second semester of my junior year. But I said, I'll get back with you in a week. Well, I had two problems. One, that I didn't have an accordion. And secondly, I'd never played an accordion. I didn't know how to play one. But I called my sister and asked her if she would buy me an accordion. She had a job. She had graduated from college, and if she would buy me one and let me repay her after graduating, she said yes, she would. And so I told him yes. That was Violet.
Oh wow, I didn't know.
So I told Evelio yes, I would go with him. So I got the accordion and immediately started trying to learn to play it, and I discovered it's a bit complicated. Because, of course, the right hand, I played piano some, and it was just a vertical piano keyboard, let's say.
Right.
So no problem there. But then I got to the left hand, it's a set of buttons.
Totally different.
Notes and then chords. And so, in fact, someone made the comment, well, I guess it's a biblical instrument because the Bible says don't let your right hand know what your left hand's doing.
Yeah.
It is a bit confusing.
Sounds good.
But anyway, I started trying to play it.
It has these different buttons as well.
Yes, I have stops on it and if I get this one. It's a little bit easier to show it on the right side because my lowest note is, and my highest stop is.
Okay. So it changed.
So it's four sets of reeds, and they have the different octaves.
Okay.
Like 4 octaves on the piano.
Okay. So that was like 66 years ago, something?
Yes. Right, 1957.
So, okay. So you went on that mission.
We went to Cuba and we were there. We spent about 6 weeks in Cuba in evangelism, saw really good results. And by the way, I had my first accordion lesson when I was actually in Cuba. I had learned to play to just sort of get along and get through on the numbers. But when we got to Cuba, there was a very fine accordionist, a missionary there. And so he gave me my first lesson. It was Roy Ackerley,
oh, really?
By the way,
I didn't know that.
who has had meetings with us in Spain, and I believe up at Accordion on one occasion. In fact, when I introduced Roy Ackerley in Elche, at the time I was 70, he was 80. And I told our congregation, I said, this is the man who gave me my first accordion lesson. And so when he got up to preach, he said, yes, I gave Flay, or Samuel as they call me over there, his first accordion lesson. He said, and after hearing him play, I wish I'd have given him a few more lessons. So,
That's
but
good.
anyway,
That's good.
that was my beginning on accordion.
How interesting.
And I've used it then in Cuba and Mexico, the years we were there, in Chile, street meetings and so forth.
And your
I remember
recordings
having street meetings in Uruguay when we had meetings over there with the accordion. And I've used it on some of our recordings that we did with the mensajeros.
on the streets, that thing will attract a crowd, right?
Yes.
It's got a lot of volume.
It does have a lot of volume, and it's a little bit of a drawing card, so we've used it a lot in meetings.
Okay, so when my family went to the mission field of Spain in 72 or 71, maybe during on deputation, someone offered my dad an accordion, a red accordion, which is this, what size is this? Is the red one smaller than this?
No, it's the same size.
Okay. Because they have small ones, they have medium, and they have large.
Small, medium, and large. The red one you have, I believe, has one. This has 4 sets of reeds. That one has more, 3 sets.
Oh, 3, okay.
And so it makes it a little bit lighter, a little bit easier to play.
Okay.
In fact, it's a very comfortable accordion, the one that your dad had.
Yeah, well, it was given to my parents by, I asked my mom here just recently, and she said a lady gave it to them and said, we have no use for it. And so I don't know why I don't know if Dad was looking for one or not, but the fact is he got the accordion, learned to play it, and we used it through the 70s and into the 80s for the ministry that my parents started in Idun. And I actually grew up playing it, learning to play. I remember this accordion course I took, and I was playing it for quite a while, then dropped off in the 80s. I didn't have one.
Palmer Hughes accordion course. Yes.
Oh, did you get it for me?
Everybody gets it. Everybody starts with Palmer Hughes accordion courses.
Okay, so I remember really putting a lot of time into it. And then that accordion, of course, Dad didn't use it anymore later, and it was stored. And then during our intensive institutes in the Basque Country, since the year 2000, there was one of our Romanian believers in our church knew how to play the accordion. When he saw it, he was delighted, and so he would play during the services and at our intensive institutes any number of times. And then he went back to his country probably 15 years ago, and I honestly didn't even know where that accordion ended up. I thought it was no longer good, that it wouldn't play anymore. And so Dad came over in August and September, and we found it anyway. He took it out and started playing it. It played fine. And so he played in our Christian Workers Retreat, he played in our Intensive Institute, and he played at church. And so he gave a story before doing a special at our church, back, I think it was the 24th of September. Of course, it's all in Spanish, and I thought, man, that'd be really, really neat to have him tell here in English, and then later I will at the end of this video, I'll put on there the video of him playing it for church after he told it in Spanish, and we'll cut that part out. So tell us what happened over there and when and where.
Well, it was the summer of either 72 or 73. I'm not sure which. But we're in Burgos, and we had started a church there, and we had a good group of young people. And so we decided, Carrie Clark and I decided to go downtown to the Espolón in Burgos, the big promenade there. And we would play the accordion and trumpet while the young people distributed tracts. And so it was a Sunday afternoon, crowded area, and so we started playing the accordion. And by the way, let me mention this. In 1967, Spain passed a religious liberty law, which was kind of a door opener, and that way we were able to go to Spain in 71. And so we didn't have a lot of freedom, but some. But anyway, we started playing the accordion and trumpet. Well, we were into about our third number when 4 policemen showed up, and Guardia Civil, the civil guards, showed up and arrested us. and they said, we're going to the jail. Well, that's where the headquarters, where they had their jail. And so I started to take the accordion off. He said, no, 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 I leave it on. I want the evidence on you, he said, and he wouldn't let me take it off. So two of the policemen in front of us and two behind, with Kerry with his trumpet and me with the accordion.
It was just the two
we
of you?
marched about, just the two of
Okay.
us. We marched about 5 blocks to the headquarters. And so we got to headquarters, and again I started to take the accordion off. And he said, no, no, we want the evidence on you. And by the way, this weighs, with accordion in case, it's almost 40 pounds.
Okay.
The accordion itself is 20, well,
Yeah.
anyway, it's heavy. They're heavy after an hour or two.
Yeah, walking.
So so we stood there and waited an hour for the commander to come in, for the chief, the boss, you know. And they explained what we were doing. By the way, while we were waiting for him, we said, let us show you what we were playing. We'll play them for you. And they said, no, no music is here. So they wouldn't let us play them nor take it off. But the chief finally said, well, look, we're going to let you go this time. But if you're going to do what you're doing, you're going to have to go out into the country where there are no people. So
Yeah, that made a lot
anyway,
of sense.
quite an experience.
So that was the story that Dad told our congregation. That they got a good laugh out of that one. And then he played a special number. So what I'm going to do is I think I have some recording of him playing in either the Christian Workers Retreat in August or the Institute in September. And so I'll do a little bit of that in that context. You can see just a few, maybe 30 seconds or a minute of that. And then I'll play the entire special number that he did at church on the 24th. So we had thought about possibly singing a song. You want to try it?
We can try
Okay,
it.
we're gonna try this. If it doesn't turn out, I'm gonna cut it right here. Okay. So we're gonna sing. Was it Solamente en Cristo, right?
Okay.
Okay. Solamente en Cristo is a Spanish chorus because we don't know it in English, and it's a very popular, well-known chorus from way back in the 70s when I got it. We were singing it, and it basically talks about Jesus being the only way for salvation. So yeah, let's try it.
Solamente en Cristo, solamente en Él, la salvación se encuentra en Él. No hay otro nombre dado a los hombres, solamente en Cristo, solamente en Él.
Okay, well, if it turned out okay, we'll keep it on there. I guess that's about it. Oh, you're playing it now, right? I mean, you're using the accordion.
I use it periodically at our church, and as a matter of fact, we have a church gathering tomorrow afternoon, Saturday afternoon, and I will be taking the accordion and playing it at that fall festival.
Okay.
So,
now you have you had another one, or have another one? That's the big one with a sound system and everything.
Well, I had an accordion, but
oh, you don't have.
I gave that back to my brother. His father-in-law had given me that accordion, and then I left an accordion organ in Spain.
Oh, okay.
So this is the one I bought. This one in the 60s when I was teaching accordion, trying to pay for my school bills.
Okay.
So I bought this one in 1964.
There's an interesting little piece of paper here with typewriting, and it has some songs on there. And tell them about that.
My older brother, Bronner, I left this accordion with him when we went to Spain. I had one over there, and he learned to play the accordion. And so he just put a little
sort of a
cheat sheet on it with the songs that he had learned to play and the key that he played them in. And when he returned the accordion, I just never took them off.
Yeah,
I left it on there.
I would leave it there. Okay, well, so I'll put up a couple of videos, and we'll end with the special number that Dad did. So hope you enjoyed it. And I've enjoyed it. I learned a few things every time I talk about it. I learned something. So God bless you. Goodbye. Thank you.
Bye.